Hey, girlfriends! What's happening? I had a couple days off because it was my birthday. My face is really sunburned, right? Oh, by the way, on Monday, I get for testing the new GFX 50mm f3.5. Yay! Awesome! I absolutely can't wait. Really can't wait. That's a 40mm f2.8 equivalent, right at about that. Awesome. It's a pancake lens. Repeat after me. Medium format pancake lens. Yeah! That'll be awesome. I can't wait. I am a total Fujifilm fanboy. I love Nikon to death also. It's like not like I've gotten rid of any of my Nikon gear. It's just the Z series cameras are not impressive at all. I mean, if they come out with a dual card slot camera, that'll be wonderful. There's two communities. Well, there's really more than two, but there's the photo community, which means all the people online that love to gripe and moan and piss and complain. I call them button sniffers and lens lickers. Let me repeat. Button sniffers and lens lickers. They're all the people on the photography forum that love to complain. They have a perfectly great working camera, or two or three or four, and like 20 or so lenses. And they're always just like uptight about the latest technology. Yeah, that's one community. Everybody thinks, and I have 8 mirrorless cameras. I know all the advantages to mirrorless cameras. Oh yes, it's wonderful having focus peaking. It's wonderful for video. Not that I really give a damn about video, but most people do. Interestingly enough, most actual photographers don't really give a crap about their cameras also being professional video cameras, but that's just a side note. That's a completely different community. Don't have to do lens calibration anymore. Wonderful. All those neat things about mirrorless. However, the word that keeps going around is that, and as much as I love my mirrorless cameras, specifically Fujifilm, for countless valid reasons, the notion that like DSLRs are dinosaurs and they're dead. I will remind you that the community, like the hardcore, and what do you mean hardcore? I mean hardcore, working, sports, action, wildlife, and photojournalists, their usage rate on those dinosaur DSLRs is just shy of 100%, and just north of about 99.5%. Yes, people that like shoot for National Geographic, that shoot the sidelines of sports games, people that shoot press conferences at the White House and Capitol Hill and war zones. Yeah, those are a little bit north of 99% DSLRs. See, all the talk about DSLRs being dead, I'm sorry. You know? I'm sorry, that's just, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true, and the photography community, which I don't mean everybody. By photography community, I'm referring to all the people on the photo forums, so on and so forth. It's just, oh my god, you know, I can't believe Nikon's going to come out with another DSLR. Exactly what do you got to complain about? The toughest cameras ever produced for hardcore. Let me emphasize the word hardcore. Hardcore. Sports, action, wildlife, photojournalism. Yeah, Canon and Nikon DSLRs. You know, those are also still the only two companies that have a vast arsenal of hardcore lenses. There's nothing comparable to 200, 500 Nikon. As much as I love Fujifilm and I have all their lenses, including their telephoto wildlife lens, not comparable to the 200, 500 Nikon. I mean, 300mm phase Fresnel, no. 300mm 2.8, Fujifilm has a 200mm f2 equivalent. I have that lens. It's also huge. Mirrorless is not smaller. It never has been smaller. The reason why I love Fujifilm is because it's a superior camera system. It has nothing to do with mirrorless. It is nice having, and this is just the X-T30 for example, it is nice throwing an old lens on this camera and doing focus peaking, and of course, you know, video is far better on mirrorless cameras, and there's no denying that. There's no denying. For video, mirrorless wins hands down. For focus peaking, it wins hands down. Battery life is not a concern anymore. Everybody used to chirp about battery life. It's not a concern anymore. It's just not. The Nikon ecosystem is unmatched. However, for mirrorless, they are far behind that of even Fujifilm, which is, astounding to say. Of course, you can't use autofocus for the D-series screwdrive lenses, which are some of Nikon's best lenses, not for autofocus, because they won't autofocus on any Z-series camera, unless Nikon comes out with a professional Z-series camera that actually has a motor drive in it for the screw drive lenses, which may happen. Nikon may shock us. They're going to come out with maybe a Z9. Imagine that, with a dual card slot, an actual professional mirrorless camera, and possibly even a screw drive motor on the camera for driving, for autofocus, all those incredible D-series lenses. Here's a fact that Nikon and Canon, and I've mentioned this years ago, I haven't mentioned it recently. Nikon and Canon, for that matter, you know what they don't like? What they do want you to do is buy new lenses, current production lenses. What Nikon don't like you doing is going on eBay, which I spent years telling people, these lenses are effing awesome, go buy them now. They're cheap. 180mm 2.8 D series, for example. Nikon still makes that lens, but Nikon doesn't make any money when you buy that nice new Z series camera and then you go on eBay and buy incredible lenses. Of course, those won't screw drive. The screw drive lenses won't autofocus on a Z series camera, but Nikon nor Canon makes money when you buy old, awesome lenses for their systems. They don't. They would rather you buy the new shiny stuff, because that is the stuff that actually puts money in their coffers. When you buy a lens from Joe Schmuck on eBay for 30% of what it used to cost full retail, Nikon don't make no money, and it makes Nikon sad when you do that, when you actually buy a superior lens for, a paltry piffrance of the... Man, those Z-series lenses are abysmal. Those lenses are as poorly constructed as old Sigma lenses used to be, and that's saying a lot. They're really pretty miserable. Nikon has announced the new 120mm to 300. However, it's also a composite lens, like the new Phase Fresnel 500mm f4 that nobody can get their hands on. If you order it, it's like a year out. I don't know how much that lens is going to cost, so it's going to cost a fortune. But I mean, everybody for the past several months has been telling me, well, I guess now they come out with the Z-series cameras, that the F-mount lenses are a thing of the past. It's like, what makes you think that? If you put yourself into the shoes of Canon and Nikon corporate, and all the hardcore sports action, wildlife, and photojournalists are working at about 99+% with DSLRs, you are still not sweating any bullets. I mean, you can see the horizon far off in the distance. But this notion that DSLRs are dead, at 99+% for the hardcore working pros, you are smoking crack. You're smoking crack. The question then becomes, as far as the hardcore working pros, what percentage does Nikon and Canon sell to those folks, as opposed to Joe Blow that, has been saving his wad and wants to spend it on the latest and greatest? If he's not very intelligent, he's going to buy a Sony and a Sigma lens. Yeah, I said that, Sigma. If he's more intelligent, he's going to buy a Fujifilm camera. Specifically medium format. Of course, that depends on what you're going to do with it. Even with the GFX 100, I should have mine within a couple weeks or so. Hopefully so. I mean, they've been out of stock for quite a long time, but this notion that DSLRs are dead that's really only, it's just farts in the wind. It's a bunch of nonsense from button sniffers and lens lickers online. Like, they gotta have it, the latest and greatest. It's like, those D-series cameras are really tough for a reason. They're meant to be treated like a red-headed stepchild. They are a lot less fragile. All cameras are fragile, really. You should see the inside of a Nikon D4 or a Nikon D3. Oh my God. It's amazing that they work at all. It's like 20 pounds of poo in a 5-pound bag. They're really astonishing inside. Yeah, this DSLR dead nonsense. If you had listened to the people online for the past, like a snapshot from like a month ago till past last year, you would have thought that DSLRs were completely dead. Nikon had abandoned forever their F-mount lenses, and that it's just not true. All of this stuff is not true at all. Anyway, I can't wait to get my 50mm 3.5 pancake lens on Monday for the GFX series of cameras, and I should have my GFX 100 here in a week or two or somewhere around there. They've been back ordered. When I first talked about those cameras, oh, that's a $10,000 camera. Fujifilm's not going to sell many of those. Here's another pile of horse poo. I mean, the world's fastest medium format camera, on and on and on. World's first on several different fronts. All the people that count, no one's going to buy that. It's a fine camera and all, but it's $10,000. Fujifilm has sold the dog piss out of those things. I think their expectations, what happened, recent report, I think I even saw this on Fuji Rumors, is that a Fuji executive said that sales of the GFX 100 were threefold what they thought they would be. Yeah, for that $10,000. That $10,000 camera is extremely cheap. The only reason you think it's expensive is because you have no clarity of the spectrum of what medium format digital cameras cost. They cost a lot of money. And that camera beats the hell out of all of them for a lot less money. A lot less money. $10,000 for medium format digital with IBIS and 102 megapixel backside illuminated. That's chump change. It's not my opinion. That's a fact, actually. So, thanks so much for watching, and wait for it. Fujifilm and Nikon. DSLRs are not dead. If you think they are, you're smoking crack. Definitely.